Next on Worcester News tonight, central Massachusetts gets hit hard with more than 2 inches of rain in the city. We have a look at the conditions tonight. Plus, a Worcester man in the right place at the right time to save a young girl outside in freezing temperatures. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. It was a wet and windy day across central Massachusetts. A flood warning is in effect until 12:30 Friday morning. Much of the snow we had over the weekend is melting, causing even more of a potential for street flooding across the area. Our Cam Jandro is live in Auburn tonight and joins us now live with more. Cam?
Anna, it's a lot different now than it was, say, 2 or 3 hours ago. The temperature has dropped significantly and it's no longer raining. But earlier today, that wasn't the case. The area saw a few inches of rain as well as melting snow because temperatures were in the 50s. Here's an example of some of that remaining water from the high temperatures melting the snow. And on Route 20 earlier today, it looked more like a pond than an actual roadway. Heavy rain and melting snow made for a wet Thursday in central Massachusetts. But some who work in the city aren't complaining about the warm temperatures.
It feels good, especially because I'm outside pushing these carts. I hate when there's slush on the ground, snow on the ground. It makes it super hard, but it feels good today.
I deliver groceries and I walk dogs. So for me, I'm always out and about, and so to have all that snow and ice, it was a headache.
The National Weather Service reports some areas had more than 2 inches of rainfall throughout the day. The wet weather also bringing in temperatures in the 50s.
Oh, it's a nice change. However, I feel like some pipes might burst, due to the rapid temperature change. I'm always worried about that.
Mass DOT responded to Route 20 in Auburn to aid street flooding. And while the rain is stopping, the January warm-up isn't going to last forever.
I don't like the cold. I freeze even when it's like 30 degrees outside, So it sucked.
Every year is depressing for me. I wish I was born someplace warmer, but unfortunately I wasn't blessed.
Now, unfortunately, it looks like the warm temperatures on Thursday were just an outlier. Things look like they're going to get rather cold in the next few days, so that means all of this water that melted is going to freeze up. So if it's on the end of your driveway or even a sidewalk, it's important to make sure that you can get rid of as much as possible if you can. Live in Auburn tonight, I'm Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
The rain and wind today causing damage to traffic lights on West Main Street at South Street in Hopkinton. According to police, the lights had been blown over and crews were on scene today to fix them. It's day 34 of the partial government shutdown, and tonight members of the Senate turned down 2 proposals which could have ended it. Congressman Jim McGovern spoke on the floor today, saying hardworking government workers are being hurt by what he's calling President Trump's publicity stunt shutdown. He shared stories he's heard from people within his district who have been without pay and aren't able to pay their bills, their mortgage, and put food on the table.
A Fish and Wildlife Service worker writes, I'm proud to serve the American public, but right now I can't even serve my family dinner. Madam Speaker, President Trump's publicity stunt is hurting America's hardworking public servants. It is cruel. Shame on him, and shame on Leader McConnell for refusing to end this shutdown. He, along with the president, need to grow up. They need to do their job, and they need to reopen this government now.
The proposals turned down came from both Republicans and Democratic members of Congress. Senator Harriet Chandler is proposing a bill which would lower the state's voting age for certain elections. She calls it an extension of a civics education bill signed last year. Chandler welcomed teenagers from the organization Vote 16 to the State House Thursday. The bill she's introducing would allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote in municipal elections if their community allowed it. Communities would have to opt in under the law to allow the younger voters. They would not be allowed to vote in state or federal elections until they reach the legal voting age. The bill is being considered by 5 other legislators. It will need to be debated in both the House and the Senate. Senator Michael Moore says he supports new legislation establishing a military code of justice and increased service pay for the National Guard. Moore joined Governor Baker and other state leaders for the ceremonial signing of the bill. It will update existing laws in relation to the National Guard. Moore says, in particular, the law increases the minimum daily pay for soldiers and airmen performing state active duty for $100 to $200 per day. This increase now makes the statewide minimum pay in Massachusetts the highest in the nation. A 2-year-old girl is safe thanks to the actions of a Worcester man. He noticed her outside in freezing cold temperatures early Wednesday morning and moved fast to get her out of the elements. Our Chandler Walsh spoke with him today and has the story.
I'm just glad that I was at the right place at the right time.
Lyft driver Ashton Mazik was returning to his Lincoln Village apartment at 3 in the morning when he saw a 2-year-old girl alone in the cold outside his building.
I just picked her up. I told her she was safe. I asked her name. She couldn't get out much because she was shivering.
Mazik says it was about 15 degrees and the girl wasn't wearing a coat or shoes. Ice and rock salt encrusted on her feet. The 28-year-old brought her inside, calling his mom from upstairs to help.
I ran downstairs, and by the time I got to him, he was getting on the elevator. She had been crying, but after Ashton picked her up, she stopped crying. I think she was just happy that somebody found her.
Mazik also works as a behavioral therapist for children with autism. He says his experience helped him make the girl feel comfortable. He and his mom wrapped her in heated towels, rubbed her feet, and called police from inside their apartment.
Even by the time the police got here, she was still shivering.
Worcester police say the girl's mother was working overnight and staying with her grandmother. The 2-year-old somehow woke up and figured out how to get out of the house.
If you held her feet, it felt like holding ice. It was just that cold.
Earlier this month, a young New Hampshire girl died from exposure after being outside in sub-zero temperatures overnight.
I'm just so happy it didn't turn out the same way.
Vita Mazik says she doesn't like when her son works late at night, but this time it was a blessing. Police say the child was treated at the hospital and is doing okay. For Ashton, it's all that matters.
I was just so grateful, so thankful that she was able to be safe, be inside, and be with people that, would do their best to care for her.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
The man accused of kidnapping Olivia Ambrose after she left a Boston bar, Victor Pena, is undergoing a mental health evaluation. He appeared in court yesterday. Meantime, we're also getting a look at Pena's apartment, where police found Ambrose Tuesday. This is the lock officers had to break in order to get inside Pena's Charlestown unit. They say they saw Pena and Ambrose, who was, quote, crying with a horrified look on her face. Neighbors say they heard loud music coming from the apartment Monday night. Now they're wondering if they missed any warning signs.
If I would have known that this was going on, I would have definitely called the cops.
Again, Pena is undergoing further testing at Bridgewater State Hospital. He's due back in court next month. 3 central Massachusetts towns are coming together Friday night to help the daughter of a fallen firefighter. The Towns of Love for Ava Roy is a fundraiser benefiting the 9-year-old daughter of Worcester firefighter Christopher Roy. Roy was killed in the line of duty in December. The event is being organized by firefighters, state leaders, and community volunteers from Shrewsbury, Northborough, and Westborough. They say the event will feature food, drinks, music, and a silent auction.
Ava, his 9-year-old daughter, is a student here at Shrewsbury Public Schools, and the community, under the direction of State Representative Hannah Kane, wanted to do something to support Ava.
I think then and there we had our mind set up. We were going to do as much as we could between schools and fire department and all Hannah's connections and all the townspeople that wanted to help out, that we would help somehow organize it.
Tickets can be bought at the doors. So far, close to 300 have already been sold. The event is Friday night from 7 to 11 p.m. at Moronis Park in Shrewsbury. From trash to treasure, students at Central Massachusetts Tech School are testing their skills repairing a totaled vehicle their school will eventually put back on the roads. Our Brittany Schaefer has the details.
The keys to a Ford Transit van are handed over to the superintendent of Bay Path Regional Vocational Technical High School, but there's a catch. Students in the auto collision repair program will have to use what they've learned to repair the totaled vehicle.
It's a good repair to learn on. It's a safe repair, so it'll be a nice donation for them, and it'll work well for the skills people for a lot of years.
We thought, what an outstanding partnership to give them some live work on a late model vehicle. It's going to be an invaluable resource for them.
Students like Dominic Berthium will be working on the van. He says it's a great opportunity to learn more about his future career.
Being a school, you don't always get all the amazing jobs that you're going to see in the field. but that van is as close as I've seen to live work out in the real world.
The program is also in partnership with Skills USA, which helps prepare students for the workforce. Executive Director Karen Ward says the van will also be put to good use when all the repairs are done.
We do a lot of service programs, bringing our students out into the community, and we do a lot of school visits, training programs at schools. And obviously we need a way to get there.
Berthium is graduating this year and says with the help of his school, Skills USA, and the new van, he knows he will go far in his career.
I get to support myself and at the same time do what I love. I can't ask for any more. I mean, they set me up for success. They just set me on my way.
Students have already started working on the van. Berthium says their goal is to have it ready for the roads by April. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.